Welcome, my beautiful souls, to another edition of Soul Surgery. This week we're gonna go. This is our first session on this side of January of the new year. If y'all celebrate the new year, my beautiful souls, I always feel like my solar return, which is my Earth Strong, my birthday, is my official new year. But without no further ado, let's go. Let's see, my beautiful souls. Purpose is what we're doing today. What is our focus this week? What's going on currently, just in the mundane, and what actions Spirit wants us to focus on as we move along. So, today we have Imset. Imset being one of the four children of Haru, who y'all know as Horus also. Imset, as it says here, represents the air spirit, right? I would say it's the air spirit confined within the fire element, right? So you could say that the Imset would represent the south, but the south is in the place of the north. We're following more like a Chinese system here, where the east is on your left, the west is on your right, north is above, north is below, south is above. So this would also be an accumulated point in the day, so between 12 to like 3, where the life force energy, the Ra, the Shikem, the Chi is full power, it's active, it can handle some of the most daring, strenuous tasks that you would need to endeavor. And it's also when your metabolism, your stomach, digestive system is at its most powerful. It's my beautiful souls. Bam! We can all see the cobra on the head. So that is symbolic of the life force, like as well. That's the Uraeus, my beautiful souls. So let's look in at Imset. Imset represents rulership over, you could say, the will, right? The way you think, the actions, your motivations behind your actions. So Imset will require clear thoughts, right? It will require planning and strategy, thinking before you act, thinking before you speak, my beautiful souls, because that's where the air spirit is all about that communication, the mental synapses, the neurons, all of that energy. Think Mercury, think Gemini, think like, you know what I'm saying, my beautiful, in that essence, right? So it brings in all of that, how we communicate going forward, how we think, how we plan, what are we planning for, right? It represents that. Also, if the fire is blazing, my beautiful souls, it means action. So there is definitely some form of execution that has to follow the planning, why the planning is required and why they're saying that the planning is important going forward, especially this week. There may be something that you could focus on, get done, right? Something that you're trying to achieve. You might feel a bit stuck at the moment, but again, it could just be that you just need to plan your steps very strategically. So this is strategy as well. So whatever calamity or whatever situation you're in, think strategy. Do not act off impulse yet. It is not the time. This is controlled, strategic action, my beautiful souls. What else could I say about Imset? In a sense, there's a whole bunch we could say, but let's leave it there for the time being, my beautiful souls. Let's see the condition of Imset and see what's going on. Ooh, interesting. So we have the universe, which is the world card, right? End of a chapter, just come from a new year, right? Literally, and or you might see the astrological new year, Easter, equinox as the new year official. So this would be a good time to strategize, to dot your I's, cross your T's, to do the research you need to do to cover certain dynamics, my beautiful souls. This is lay the last brick on the building. Do you know what I'm saying? This will give you a nice window, this winter period. And obviously, this card is associated to Saturn. Saturn rules Capricorn and Aquarius. So Capricorn, Saturn is ruling the whole of, basically, you could say, of the winter period. So Saturn is serious, sorry. Right? He's serious. He expects structure. He expects discipline and consistency. They say he's a time lord, meaning that he does put hindrance on, or blockages, or yeah, he does all of that, right? He restricts energy. He's linked to the bones also, right? So there you can see the bones is something that holds us up, right? Without our bones, we'll be nothing more than like slugs, right? How would we achieve and experience the wonders of this world and of each other, my beautiful souls. So this solidifying or crystallizing dynamic of Saturn is really what the universe or the world card is actually saying. Before this, you had the judgment card, and the judgment card would be, which we might know as the Aeon card. It's a passing of generations out with one generation into a new generation. Right, so think about this in a deeper sense, my beautiful souls, as you may be shifting away from certain cultural belief systems or certain habitual nature that you have, that you learn, your learned behavior, right? See this also as that, as an opportunity to remove ourselves from learned behavior, from the environments we grew up in, right? But on a good note, it's the end of a chapter. And the world card normally, depending on how it sits, it can represent a form of success, my beautiful souls. So we're looking to bring something full circle with strategy, with planning, right? So the window of achievement is not here yet. That would be in a few months. But right now is to plant your seeds, and those seeds are planning seeds. Is to think, is to work diligently, my beautiful souls, is to be able to not act on impulse, is to harness and rise your life force energy, because without it you can't achieve nothing. So a lot of the plans that you might be executing, Saturn could be blocking simply because you lack, they're the wrong plans. They're not consistent. They're not the right type of routines to gain you the quality of what you're trying to achieve. So reassess all that, my beautiful souls, with that energy. That's, those themes will be coming up this week as an area of purpose and an area of focus, my beautiful souls. All right, let's go and see what is actually being triggered this week. Oh, interesting. We have the sage. It just feels very sagey. Jupiter in Capricorn. Ah, this is definitely sagey. Jupiter is all about expansion, my beautiful souls. So right now, the mundane focus is, how do we expand? How do we gain more riches? Right? How do we remove ourselves from the environments that we grew up in? Right? The world is a very big place, and why are we being limited to? Why are we limited to just one specific ends or area, scheme, ghetto, hood, or a state? Do you know what I'm saying, my beautiful? A city, right? So Jupiter wants that, for us to explore what that might look like. But then Capricorn is, again, he's ruled by Saturn. So Capricorn is a serious sign, right? But Capricorn are very hard working. They expect a level of perfection, not perfection, a level of quality, right? And hence why, if we just act on our impulse, we have an idea but we don't really think it through, we're just, what we're going to create will never be of quality. So it will never be fruitful enough for us to, let's say, that to survive of it, or not survive, to flourish of it, for it to be something that could provide us with security and all of those things, my beautiful souls. Sorry, 1 second. Yes, my beautiful souls. So with the 10th house being the number at the top, as y'all can see right here, the 10 does represent career. So definitely we're thinking about our career this week, or what the seeds that we're planning, that we're planting, or we're moving towards, is definitely about, what do you call it? It's about our legacy, our career, the highest achievements we can achieve this lifetime, what we're meant to be focused on. Because you have the 10th house, which is that. Then you have the 6th house, which more represents work. It's also the house of slavery, right? Because you're indentured in some form of employment, basically. And that house was also the house of the servant. So what happens in society, we get caught up in the everyday work, the job, because that provides the bills, right? So Spirit's saying that there's something greater than that, right? The what we call employment or long-term employment, and that security was never supposed to be for so long. It was supposed to be an internship. It was supposed to be work experience, right? Where we use those terminologies for people in school or college to get a taster, right? Or in the form of internship, for you to be guided by someone in the field that you are interested in, right? But it was never supposed to be in the sense of a servant, which employment has become. my beautiful souls. So a spirit is wanting you to explore beyond that realm, just like we have a second house, right? And the second house is more about the skill set that we have, talents, gifts, our self-worth, self-esteem, and money itself. So what we really should be doing, we should be using our second house energy to awaken and be aware of some talents and gifts we have, right? Then looking at our sixth house as a means to gain some sort of experience or knowledge within the field, and then project into the 10th house energy where we say, okay, I'm gonna run my own business, I'm gonna be self-employed, or I'm gonna be a contractor, or do you know what I'm saying, my beautiful soul? That is the energy that the 10th house brings up. So like I said, with Jupiter there, Jupiter is just saying think big, think big, start small, right? Don't think small and then start small. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're ever forever in that smallness. Jupiter tests you to expand out of smallness. So Cancer's in, what do you call it, the opposite of Capricorn actually at the moment, right? Which is is in Cancer retrograding. So definitely stuff to do with home, maybe your legacy, the land that you come from, or resources within the land. There could be a level of feeling a form of protection or comfortability with the home you live at or the culture you come from. Jupiter would be like, yo, what's over there? What's in those foreign territories? Like, I heard they got resources over there, right? Capricorn, if you can see it, can be like a father energy, right? So you've got like the Cancer mother, father energy of Capricorn. These two energies being one who can build a home and one who can also generate wealth to sustain the home. That might be you, the individual, incorporating again the masculine and feminine energies as one person, as opposed to saying, oh, I need my counterpart. First, awaken the two factors within yourself, and then you will meet someone who also awakens those factors within yourself, within their self, and then you got kaboom! Right, my beautiful souls. So you got the whole world in your hands. That's just what I feel right here. When it comes to this energy of Jupiter and Capricorns. So again, don't force it. Don't force the expansion because Capricorn won't allow it anyway. And Saturn right now, which is the ruler of Capricorn, is sextiling in Pisces, right? If we're looking at it like that, we're mixing the Oracle with the current transits, right? And he's going into Aries, right, where he's going to be at full. So a lot of the control is established and putting in boundaries and controlling our empathy and this give and take energy, which he's been doing in Pisces, is going to change, my beautiful souls. And also, Jupiter is going to move into Leo out of Cancer, right, in I think May. So there is an energy where Jupiter is awakening to take the stage, to take the platform, to declare what it is, what it's interested in, where it wants to go, right? How it wants to expand. So I would say definitely slow expansion, planned expansion, right? Boom. Next we have under what action we should be taking and what focus, like what message spirit basically has for us. And we got the taming power of the great, sounding very Capricorn-y and Saturn-y, this my beautiful souls. Look, he's even got the mountain. Capricorn is the mountain goat. Like, oh my gosh. Right, so we got the discipline, concentration, strengthen your character from within, self-awareness, realizing potential. Realizing potential. Could a lack of planning diminish your ability to achieve? Or is a lack of planning an actual sign of a lack of self-esteem? There's a blind spot in your capability to see, or your ability to see what your capabilities are, my beautiful souls. This is where we're bringing in the self-awareness. This is bringing back in this Imset energy, your will, being able to free yourself, right? Your will, which would be a Haru energy, a Leo energy, freeing your will from that tyranny of the old you, because, we all have an old version of ourselves, who we used to be. But sometimes we still carry the residue of that thinking that we've moved along, but we haven't. right? So there could be some downplay in here, some dimming of the lights, right? The black suns, my beautiful souls, you know, shining in the shadows, needs to now come forth, right? Again, concentration, it will link back to this imset energy. We need to be due diligent. We need to have diligence, man, a frugalness to us. And again, planning. It literally says this is what we reward us. This is how we tame the creative fire energy, right? Which you can see through the circle on the left hand side. And with the mountain, keeping still energy, which is a very grounding energy from the heavens. But then we've got the spark or the creative energy, like a lightning energy kind of arousing within us, my beautiful souls. Hence with Imset being the air spirit, but also linked to the Ra period of the day. Ra being the life force, being 12 till 3, like midday. It's also, in astrology, that is also where we call the Nadir, the 10th house, right? The east, the rising star starts where we would say esoterically is the east, right? And then it rises to the south in this essence, which would be the 10th house, my beautiful souls. So you see how everything is connected. So let's see what other issues. Oh, the kiss. This just automatically says to me, this is not necessarily, I'm not getting love here. I'm not going to turn this into a love reading, my beautiful souls. But a kiss to me is something intimate. It's a connection. It's a declaration, right? You don't go kissing everyone. So let's talk about an intimate kiss with someone you love as ability to show your affection, to bridge that connection. To It's like a glue, or it's like a reaffirming. Do you know what I'm saying? So I feel like there is a contract that we all have, and it's called destiny. We all have a destination, right? And under my principles of spirituality, we all ask to be here. And life is about remembering, putting back the pieces of our forgotten divinity and our forgotten purposes, our forgotten heights that we come from. And life is about remembering. You piece back the pieces, right? This kiss is saying, what are you willing to commit to, or what are you willing to show up for? What are you willing to go for? So it's a full moon season, right? So maybe, right, in the sense of a relationship, maybe your self-realization and self-awareness is now realizing that you've played yourself small in relationships. You've accepted false relationships, right? I want to say false. Everything teaches us a lesson. We've accepted relationships based on the level of our own self-esteem and self-worth. So what happens if your self-worth changes, but you're still entertaining these lower vibrational relationships? You're connected to the wrong thing. Again, you will not get the quality or the results of the fruitfulness of what you're trying to create, whether that's a business or whether that is a relationship. So this kiss now is asking again to me deeper to check yourself, check the people that you're committed to, could check what mind frame or mindsets or perceptions, cultural beliefs, religious beliefs, political beliefs, what has held and shaped you. That's what the kiss is really saying, so that you now can really see, we're discovering the unseen. Yeah, there is, I told you, I'm getting that black sun energy, right? Black sun, meaning the black sun represents spiritual power and prowess, awareness, but it's hidden, right? So it's saying that it's time for this to come forward. You see the eye opening. It's almost like the third eye or the first eye opening, my beautiful souls. Some form of commitment. This is where the Saturn and the Capricorn is relaying. There's some form of commitment that needs to be chosen. We need to choose, right, on how we build our future. It's almost like we've been in a boat being sailed by someone else and who controls the destination, but we're now basically, spirits like, you are now the boat maker. So you got to go build your boat. There's your strategy to carry you over choppy waters. That would be maybe your trauma, your lack of self-worth, false identity, what people told you and who you are, my beautiful souls, right? And then you're obviously the person who's steering that boat, right? So you have control. That control is concentration, self-discipline, shining through. So yes, at this present time, Spirit's asking us to be the boat makers again. Look at this one, says the great one of the night of time, because we sail through. Then if you look at nighttime as a means of replenishment, reflection, right? The nighttime, it could be where they say the shadows could be where we hide our jewels and our talents, right? So we've got to go through that in one sense, like a dark night of the soul, right? Which normally happens at an age of 28, right? For some people, but can happen at any time you just going through a challenging period, right? Don't see the darkness or the shadows as defeating. See them as opportunities and revealing. And you can see, like, we've got even like the sign Taurus in this, showing a fertility, fruitfulness. We've even got the North Node here showing up in this specific deck, my beautiful souls, right? The North Node is your future lifetime. It's you've entered this world with certain lessons to learn, yes, certain gifts and resources that you can harness and utilize, awaken to utilize, right? And that's where our focus should be, right? Same actions gets you the same results, right? We need not be afraid of change. We are transcendental beings, meaning, right, represented through the concept of Auset, Isis, right? She had her husband chopped up into 13 pieces, and she basically went back and found all those parts, restored it, and gave birth to her son, Haru. What this means, those 13 parts are aspects of our divinity, my beautiful souls, right? That you have your spiritual makeup and the makeup of this whole entire universe, right? So Spirit's saying that we have a natural synergy to these aspects, which is what I teach through the tree of life, right? We awaken these parts of ourselves on an unconscious level. Life will present you with certain challenges, and you will indirectly will be developing and awakening different faculties within yourself, my beautiful souls. This is what the universe really represents, is stepping into that ownership, that awareness of these challenges that you've gone through, right? Those challenges are the dismemberment, right, of you. This is when you're feeling chaos, or you're feeling like whatever I do is not working. But then we use the wisdom of Auset. She represents the ability to tap into intuition. Hence why her passion for life, or her devotion to her husband to repease him, was untouched. But what if I tell you that you are Asar? You are Auset. She represents the initiational stage, the number 9 on the tree of life, right? And Asar is number 1. And then she gives birth to her son Haru, which is your will. So there's the will of the universe, right? But we also share in the quality and an aspect of that will. You get me? Same quality, different aspect, right? So we have the ability to take our will. Once we have awoken to the fact that we have been programmed through our emotions, our emotional composition, and the world, we will go through this childhood period. Adults, human beings have the longest child rearing processes, which means we have the most influencing and imprinting. And what are you as a child? You are just like a sponge. Your form of learning is imitation, but that seems to be carrying on, right? We learn through imitation, copying, reacting. Auset represents that energy of us indiscriminately receiving the world and letting it imprint and change us and fabricate our ego. The same thing that we now are going to use as a tool to free ourselves from. So it's very deep, and that ego is, again, Mercury energy, air energy. That's number 8 on the tree of life, my beautiful souls. And it's also the key to what they would say, that lower vibrational energy, the insecurity, right? This segregative thinking, seeing everything in its parts, very analytical. This is the real demons, my beautiful souls. So I don't want to go too deep, even though I think I just did. That is the energy, yeah, going forward. So the unseen is basically you looking into the mirror and truly seeing yourself, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be tapping into your intuition, even though it is that also, right? The unseen is like, we might have layers and layers and layers of doubt, layers of other people's opinions, right? And layers of naysayers, fatalistic thinking, right? So Spirit's kind of saying, allow yourself time, right, to unravel some of that, right? And then you'll start to see the light of yourself, that beautiful light that shines from you, my beautiful soul. So I'm gonna leave it there. So let me know in the messages, in the comment section, how this resonates with you. I'm always interested, my beautiful souls, in how the message translates to your own personal life. Until next week, we say what? Kaboom! Love, light, a little bit of darkness, and abundance, my beautiful souls. Peace. Hetepu.